All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. This channel is for educational purposes, and we check into great theories and concepts and discoveries that are impactful. They would help you with your spiritual, mental, and physical health, but they have been suppressed, and got to dig them out. And then you probably also have to dig because the material is a little bit difficult, both mentally and emotionally. And so, uh, you know, this channel is not easy. And this is a feature that we call the Q-tip of the spear. And these are just maybe some tips for the Q people out there um, at the tip of the spear that I pay attention to their podcasts and stuff. Just some notes and notables that I bring up every day. And yeah, I think it's going to be a big week here. Um, Now, I think that one thing has to do with this airport TSA terminals being replaced by ICE agents. Um, it looked like Dave and Rambo kind of figured out that uh, the overcrowding at the airports appears to be something on the lines of amplified messaging. Um, Not saying it's not happening at all, but just saying that it's maybe not happening as much as they're talking about in the news. But they needed to talk about it and turn it into a crisis so that the administration could bring in the ICE agents. Um, so that's going to be kind of explosive. I would imagine that there are going to be some opposition to that, probably some pretty strident opposition to it, um, maybe leading to some ugly encounters at airports, no less. And yeah, this war is this fifth generation warfare is uh, when you combine it with the third and fourth generation warfare, it's really confusing what's going on. You can't even figure out whose side. Uh, Usually you can at least figure out whose side you're on, and whose side the other people are on. But it seems like both sides are the enemy, kind of, um, because there's Iran, the regime there, and whatever, the long history and the association with terror attacks and the Great Satan and all of that. But on the other hand, you got Israel, who is trying to like kind of goad us into escalating at any given moment, and they are masters at that. Um, and they are masters of false flags. And so you kind of expecting Israel to probably try to take out some Americans and blame it on Iran. And that will hopefully get things escalated. That's pretty much their MO. And then you got Russia and China hanging around right around the wings. And so, you've got kind of the America's greatest ally, and then you have a bunch of America's greatest enemies. Um, and I think that they're, when you got friends like that, you don't need enemies. But looks like we got a bunch of enemies. But those enemy countries then are also I mean, the thing is that all these countries are run by a deep state, and they all have somebody there who maybe is trying to look out for the sovereign people. Possibly this alliance with Xi and Putin. I guess maybe Iran doesn't have anything like that. Maybe they do, mad that I don't know about. But so that's what makes things pretty difficult is that you can't really identify countries. There's regardless of how many countries you identify, there's always an enemy that is not a country, you know, that doesn't go by any of the country monikers and just kind of is floating out there, ready to take their shot um, among any type of uh, identity that it feels like is convenient for them to work through. So that becomes kind of difficult to figure out, and certainly difficult to navigate. So that is um, something to keep your eyes on. Again, in my opinion, we're dealing with full control, and so this is really on the level of drama and on the level of how is this mystery uh, going to be resolved. Now, then, on the other hand, um, if if we have one and we're just watching the final uh, results, see what actually happened, that enabled us to win, then we need to get ready for the next stage. And I may be premature in all of this because the war hasn't been won yet, so called and so forth. But I think the events have already played out. So the next stage is going to be even, um, more difficult than the this one. Because it's going to require a thorough going deconstruction of your life, not just the surface aspects of your life, not just, your career or your education, but it's going to go down into your culture, your family, your religion, and all the way into all of your conditionings. And so you have some experience now in, dealing with red pilling in terms of, what you thought you believed was true. But that has only been kind of a superficial red pilling. It hasn't gotten deep enough for most of you to question the things that go a little bit deeper, especially the religion and the heritage and the, kind of, I won't say patriotism, but just the the nationwide character, or um, the you know I don't know exactly how to phrase that, but just that all of it, regardless of what narrative you're talking about, all of it is a psychological operation, and so all of it is not true, whether it's religion or you know nationhood or um, you know health and wellness or anything like that. They've fed you a bunch of lies, and not only have you accepted them, and this includes me as well, um, not only have we accepted them, but we have also kind of formed allegiances to them. They, a lot of times, especially like in terms of diet, they have um, given you diets that will keep you alive, um, but they won't help you to thrive. And so you're like, oh well, I'm healthy, so I don't need to do anything. If you're on the right diet, your health is like through the roof. You have boundless energy, you never get sick, and your general level of wellness is better than you could have imagined that it would be. And so if you're not feeling that, then you need to work on your diet, which is probably true of all of us, including me. But I have sniffed it before, and I I have a lot of it. I'm My health is extremely good, but not perfect. Um, but I know how to get there. It requires a good deal of discipline. So anyway, we'll stop it right there. Thanks for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe, contribute, and we will return tomorrow with another episode of the Q-tip of the spear. We got a couple other videos in store for the rest of the day. So stay tuned to Wild Tangent.